Released on November 25th, 2021, MrBEAST'S video, $456,000 Squid Game in real life, is smashing YouTube records, exceeding 30 million views in the first 24 hours. Crazy. So in this episode of the podcast, I want to share for you my take on what any video strategist or YouTuber can learn from the success of this video. So keep listening. G'day my friends and welcome back to the Engage Video Marketing Podcast. I'm your host Ben Amos from Engage Video Marketing, and on this podcast I share tips, tricks and strategies to help you engage your ideal audience to action through effective online video strategy. So whether you've seen the video that I'm referring to in this episode or not, it is a masterclass in how to create video content for YouTube that hooks viewers, that engages viewers, and keeps people watching all the way through, which is exactly the goal for creating videos on YouTube. So in this episode, I'm actually going to break down for you 5 YouTube tactics that anyone can learn from MrBEAST'S Squid Game replica.
Let's test my hypothesis.
Now, whether or not, and in many cases you probably don't have the budget that MrBEAST has, reportedly $3.5 million was thrown at the production and the prize giveaways during this 25-minute video. Regardless of the budget, there are plenty of things that you can actually learn and take away into the videos that you're creating for your business or for your clients. So whether you've heard of MrBEAST before, and unless you've been living under a rock, you probably have. But what I love about MrBEAST'S videos is they really are, when you dissect them and spend some time analyzing them, they can be a masterclass in understanding and manipulating and using the YouTube algorithm towards your success. Now, of course, the key thing underlying all of this is that what MrBEAST and his producers and his team really understand is the YouTube algorithm is not about kind of gaming the system, but what it is about really understanding audience behaviors. Because if you can really tap into the understanding of what is going to hook the human that is watching this video and get them to keep watching all the way through the video, then that is the secret to success on YouTube. Before we break down the 5 tactics that you can actually take away from this video, let's talk a little bit about just how phenomenal the success of this video really is. Now, let's put that view count into perspective. So, Super Bowl in the US typically brings in around 90 to 100 million or just over 100 million TV viewers. Let's also add to that understanding that on average, the most popular TV broadcasts that are broadcast in the US alone is around 6 million people for the most popular episodes. Now, of course, we recognize that TV has a declining viewership as people move to streaming services and online, so we'll keep that in mind. But let's just put that into the context of the over 30 million views within the first 24 hours from this single video on YouTube. And that is what is mind-blowing about this. The only other YouTube videos that have kind of exceeded this sort of level of success within the first 24 hours are major music labels and bands with their music videos. Okay, so outside of that world, which is obviously dominating on YouTube, MrBEAST is really onto something with this video. So let's talk about this video. If you haven't seen it yet, warning, this is somewhat of a spoiler alert, okay? So if you do want to watch the video, then make sure that you go and do that before you listen to the rest of this episode. But more importantly, if you haven't yet seen Squid Game as well, the most popular Netflix TV series, which this video was based on, then I do encourage you to not listen to the rest of this episode because there is going to be some spoiler alerts for Squid Game as well. So let's talk about this video. So basically, the premise behind this video is pretty simple. Squid Game was a very popular TV show with a number of game challenges that contestants had to be put through in the show in order to be the last one standing. And obviously, the show involved a lot of killing, and MrBEAST didn't kill anyone, but he took 456 contestants here, threw them into Squid Game-like environments with huge sets, very similar to the Squid Game environment, and actually put them through the paces to the last person standing was able to win $456,000. So that's the premise. Pretty simple. Let's talk about the tactics in this video that you can take away for your own YouTube channel. So first of all, I want to talk about the opening seconds. Now, in the opening seconds of the video, MrBeast is right there on camera, and within the first 8 seconds, within a 1-sentence description, he describes exactly what is going to happen in the video.
I recreated every single set from Squid Game in real life, and whichever one of these 456 people survives the longest wins 456 grand.
So without wasting any time, within the first 8 seconds, you click play, you know exactly what is going to happen, and you're intrigued to see what is going to happen. Within the first 18 seconds, the first game, red light, green light, has actually started.
The first game we're gonna play is red light, green light, and they have 30 minutes to cross the red line on the other side of the huge room.
We are in. So if you've clicked play on this video, within 18 seconds, you are watching the first game and you are in, and you are invested in the outcome of the contestants within the first game. Now let's take that one step further. Within the important 30 seconds, the first 30 seconds of the video. So in fact, within the first 28 seconds of the video, we see the first elimination.
Red light.
Oh.
And as you can see, every single player has a device strapped to them.
The critical thing here, why this is so important, I believe, that they brought that first elimination of a contestant within the first 28 seconds, is that they know that if they keep a viewer watching after the first 30 seconds, it counts as a view, thereabouts. So they know that their goal is to get the people to the first 30 seconds and then, of course, to get people further into the video from there. Now, let me break down why I think they made sure to get that first elimination in the first 30 seconds. Now, if you've watched the Squid Game, you know that the first elimination within the game on Netflix, the first game, is the moment that many of us were completely shocked in the series. Now, in the series, of course, the first contestants were eliminated by being gunned down in a horrific and bloody display. And that's the shocking thing within the TV series. But in the first 28 seconds of this game on YouTube, as a viewer who has watched Squid Game, which they're assuming that you have when you're watching MrBeast's video, you're wondering, how are they going to eliminate contestants? Because you assume, of course, that they're not going to gun people down in cold blood. But the real, I guess, open loop that is left when you start watching this MrBeast version of Squid Game, you're thinking, okay, cool, so how are they going to eliminate these contestants? And that is exactly what they reveal within the first 28 seconds of the video. And then, game is on. And from here, let me transition to the second tactic that I think you need to understand and take away from the way that this video is being crafted to its success. And that is that MrBeast, and particularly his editing team here, are masters at creating regular engagement triggers through the way that they build the story and build the edit out. Because, of course, if you can get people to the first 30 seconds, the goal then is to get them to the next 30 seconds and the next 30 seconds, and then subsequently through to the full 25 minutes of the video. So by injecting regular engagement triggers, such as unexpected things happening or things that maybe MrBeast says to the camera that makes you think what's going to happen next. For example, about halfway through the video, for example, as viewers' attention might be starting to wane, during the tug-of-war contest, MrBeast turns to the camera and says,
In this game with Team 9 versus Team 11, they went so hard that this happened.
They are going all out!
And of course, your attention is reset back to the screen and you're wondering, oh, what's going to happen? So every 30 to 45 seconds within the way that the video is put together, there's something that triggers your engagement back into the video and keeps you watching. And that is a very deliberate tactic that anyone can take away and inject into their videos.
Welcome to Glass Bridge!
Okay, so let's talk about tactic number 3 that you can take away from the way that this video has been put together. And it really is about using the power of story, and particularly story arcs within the way that the video is built. Now, there is, of course, the overarching or meta story arc. So 456 people start the game, only one person's going to end the game, and that person's going to win $456,000. That's the story arc. We have characters who want something, there's stakes at play, and there's challenges and barriers to achieving that outcome. And of course, there is a new normal or an outcome that happens after the climactic events of the story. That's your standard story arc. But alongside the main or meta story arc, there's also multiple micro story arcs which are crafted absolutely beautifully throughout the editing of the story. Now, I have no doubt that this is a deliberate tactic that they're employing, and it is a tactic that reality TV shows, that documentary, that broadcast TV have been using for years to actually engage people through the story, and that is the idea of using these micro stories throughout the meta story. So what I'm talking about with micro stories is smaller story arcs that happen to individual characters or individual scenes within the games. For example, the story arc that we see played out with character 067.
You're gonna be a bit awkward.
Or the story arc with player number 10 who takes the lead on the glass bridge challenge.
I don't understand why number 10 went in front of everyone. That was dumb.
Or the story arc with player 456, who obviously is a key character within the Netflix series, and that character in the MrBEAST version becomes his own micro story arc as well.
I'm feeling great, just blessed to be here.
Super powerful to keep people engaged. And so for your next YouTube video, I want you to think about the micro story arcs that you can create that sit within your meta story arc within your video. And tactic number 4 that you can take away from this video is the idea of linking into popular culture and macro trends that are happening at the time of your video's release. There's a pretty obvious link here to pop culture references. So the opportunity that was capitalized on here for the video was to tap into the massive popularity of that Netflix series within culture, but also the online meme popularity that's sprung up around Squid Game. So we're already seeing and have been seeing prior to this video a number of Squid Game memes popping up on social media. We've seen Squid Game videos popping up on YouTube and so on and so forth. So there is a pop culture reference here which MrBEAST is very clearly tapping into. But I also want to focus in on here the idea of tying in your content into trending topics. In fact, much like this podcast episode is doing right now by tying into the trending topic of this MrBEAST video. If you can look for ways to add your expertise or tell your story or add more value to something that is popular or is trending within your industry, then that is a great way to actually be more relevant to your audiences, but also to allow your content to hang on the coattails of some of the success of these other topics that are trending within your industry. So a really powerful tactic that MrBEAST is truly mastering, and you can too. And the 5th tactic I want you to take away from this video is the idea of making sure that your content aligns with your brand. Now, there's 2 instances that this video from MrBEAST actually really highlights this. And the number one thing is, even though he's chosen to tie into a trending topic or popular culture reference by recreating Squid Game within this video, it definitely has a MrBEAST flavor. So he hasn't lost what it is about MrBEAST's videos on his channel that his fans have come to know and love. We see the same regular characters, we see some of the same tropes, some of the same humor throughout the video. So it definitely has a distinctive MrBEAST feel which hasn't been lost. And I think that's really important to recognize, because you need to understand what it is about your channel that people are coming to your channel for. Even though that you're trying new things, even though that you're tying into trending topics or popular culture, you still need to be recognizing what it is about your channel that people recognize and have come to know and love. The other aspect to this really idea of knowing your brand and knowing your audience is if you're tying in any brand deals or influencer deals or promoting any affiliate partnerships or so on through your videos. Now, if you've watched the MrBEAST video that we're referring to here, you'll realize that this video was actually a brand deal with a computer game or a multiplayer game called Brawl Stars.
I want to tell you guys about Brawl Stars.
Who helped fund this video, which cost over $3.5 million.
Thank you so much.
Now, Brawl Stars is a multiplayer online game developed by Finnish game company Supercell, and many of you have probably never heard of it before. I know that I hadn't, but the beauty of this brand integration into this video is that they clearly aligned the brand deal and the product that they're promoting to both the topic of the video and to the audience of MrBEAST'S channel. Now, of course, this is no surprise. MrBEAST and his team understand this world much better than many of us. But what I want you to really take away from this is when you have an opportunity to promote a brand, promote a product, promote an affiliate through your content, you need to make sure you do that in a way that is aligned to the content of the video and is respectful of your audience. For example, if I was to shout out any of my favorite products within this particular video, I would be talking here about TubeBuddy. My friends over at TubeBuddy have created the tool that you need to superpower the success of your YouTube channel. It's behind the success of my YouTube channel and countless other successful YouTubers as well. So if you're serious about growing your YouTube channel, then you should be using TubeBuddy, and you can check out the link in the description to this podcast. So in the time it's taken to record this episode, I've just hit refresh on the video, and there's about another 200,000 viewers have watched the video over the last 10 to 15 minutes. So if you haven't yet seen MrBEAST's video, go over and check out MrBEAST's video. The link is in the description, and learn what you can from one of the masters in the world of YouTube. And I hope you found this video useful as well, and it's helped understand how you can capitalize on some of the big things that some of the best YouTubers in the world are doing to grow your channel, regardless of the size and whatever budget you might have behind it. And when you're done with this one, it's this video right here that you want to check out next, because I go more into how to grow your YouTube channel right there.